Cash flow statement, part 1. What is cash? In accounting, there is an apparent contradiction. We say that value is the most important, that's why double entry accounting was invented, and we say that cash is the most important. A firm thrives or goes bust depending not on value it has in its balance sheet, but on cash. Double entry accounting was invented to record a payment, not in the form of money, but in the form of an IOU, that is a promise. This IOU, received in exchange for goods, is not money, but it is value, and as such is recorded in a debtor's account. We saw that at the beginning of this course in double entry accounting. Yet, we pay with cash, not with value. And in this lesson, I assimilate cash to banknotes, coins, and also checking accounts. That is, official money if you prefer, and I call it cash. A firm can make profits, but go bust because it runs out of cash. Conversely, we can also make losses and have an increase in our cash. So, what is cash? A bit of history will help us. Until the advent of official paper money in the 19th century, cash was essentially coins of precious metals. A gold coin had two values, the sign coined on it and the quantity of gold in it. Over the course of history, the quantity tended to be less than the sign. It's a long story. That was a way for states to collect revenues, called seigniorage or even degradation of the money. And this existence of two values led to all sorts of problems. And paper money began to appear in the 17th and 18th centuries. But it is only in the 19th century that states granted to one big bank the monopoly of issuance of official paper money with the legal tender status. Also, in the 17th and 18th century, it began to be understood by people like William Petty, 1623-1687, and John Law, 1671-1729, that a country to produce and exchange and be prosperous needs money. But this money doesn't have to be precious metal. It can be pure signs on paper. In 1715, when Louis XIV of France died, the French treasury was empty. Despite the thrifty mercantilist policy of Colbert, the manufacturers, etc., the 4 wars fought by Louis and the lavish court expenditures, Versailles, etc., had dried the treasury. John Law went to see the regent and suggested to set up a bank which would issue paper money in exchange for gold deposits. And it succeeded. The treasury had money again. And the bank worked for about 4 years. And then distrust and withdrawals destroyed the Bank of John Law around 1720. All along the 19th century, there was a controversy called the Bullion Controversy. It was this: should paper money be guaranteed by gold or not? The currency school said yes, and the banking school said no. And I'm simplifying, it's a long story. Here, what I want is that we understand a little better what is cash. In fact, from about 1870 until 1914, that is World War I, during what's called the gold standard era, all big currencies were guaranteed by gold. And it has been said by a famous economist that a pound sterling or a dollar or a franc germinal were only names for weight of gold. And so it was again after the 20s until 1971 with some modification that I call minor. That is, 1 ounce of gold was worth $35, and all currencies had fixed exchange rates among each other. And there again, I'm simplifying a long story. Since August 1971, currencies are no longer guaranteed by gold. They represent now no more than the signs on the banknotes, and they float with respect to each other. And the price of gold went through vast movements that can be seen in this picture from 1971 up until here, 2008. It began at $35. It peaked at almost $1,000 in January 1980. Then it went down again, down to about a little less than $300 in around the year 1999. And since then, it rises. And this picture stops at 2008. But now we are about, at the time of this lesson, at $1,300 per ounce of gold. One of the main missions of monetary authorities in each country or each currency zone is to preserve price stability. That is, a representative basket of goods and services should keep the same value over time, or roughly. The alternative is either inflation or deflation. And inflation is a curse on a society, on a community, because it disrupts, it destroys contracts between people. An obvious idea to limit the quantity of official money is to limit the quantity of official money in circulation in order to preserve price stability. But this can lead to social hardship. There again, it's a long story, which I will not go into here. And right now, in 2010, there are again people advocating to go back to a guarantee with gold. The teacher, myself, I do not advocate to go back to a guarantee with gold. So to finish this lesson, it is important for firms to know what explains the evolution of their cash from one year to the next. And it is the objective of the cash flow statement.